innocent fate, and now I got a bellyache.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Karina. I make videos whenever I have time. Before we get started with the video, I would really appreciate it if you guys hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get started. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience working at McDonald's and the reason that I quit. This is just a video talking about my whole experience. So let's start off with orientation. Orientation is once you've already gotten the job. Most of the time you will have an interview first with one of the managers at the restaurant that you are working at, and they will let you know, like, congrats, you got the job, blah blah blah, and then they'll tell you like what kind of stuff you need. By that I mean, like, whenever you go to the orientation, you will need your social security, I don't remember, a work permit? No, I don't remember. The food handler's card and some other stuff. The day of orientation, you have to show up, professionally dressed. They will give you your uniform, which is, I think it's on my shirt. So I think it's different now. The uniform is different now, but when I worked there, they give us these shirts that say, the reason people smile when you say cheese. They give you 2 shirts because they know that you're not gonna wear one shirt for like a whole week, you know? So they give you 2 shirts. They give you your hat, your name tag, and I believe that's it. At orientation, you're getting paid. It's like 3 hours. So back then, the minimum wage was like $10.50. You were getting paid like $30 to $40 that day. Now I believe minimum wage is like $11. So if you were to get a job at McDonald's now and go through orientation, you would be getting paid about $33 to $44. You do get paid for orientation. All you have to do is watch videos and fill out a bunch of paperwork. So after you do that, that's kind of like your official congrats, you work at McDonald's. That's orientation. The first day, I'm gonna tell you about my first day. I actually made a blog about my first day working on the job, so if you guys want to check that out, I will leave a link down in the description so you guys can check that out. My first day, you had to come in the uniform. Like I said, the shirt, your hat, your little name tag. You had to wear some black pants. They couldn't be denim. They had to be like kind of like slacks, but not slacks. Like, they were like similar to slacks, but they weren't slacks. You gotta wear some pants like those. You had to wear non-slip black shoes which don't work. I bought some that I can't even count on my hands how many times I've almost slipped and fell because of those shoes. Non-slip shoes. You had to wear that. Your hair had to be up and out of your face. So I showed up. They had me in like this room in the back read like this article or whatever on how to make fries, which was like 3 pages long just to learn how to make fries. You don't need to read 3 pages to know how to make fries, but some people do, so I guess that's cool. So they had me sit in the back, made me read those 3 pages on how to make fries, and then they had me actually make the fries. And the manager that was like training me that day she was something else, man. Like, she was kind of rude the whole time, and I was like, sorry. So she was kind of rude at first, and she was like, did you read the article? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, go make the fries. I was like, okay, where are your fries? Like, she hadn't told me where anything was at, so I was literally new to everything. Like, I didn't know where anything was at, so I couldn't start making fries because I didn't know where anything was at. I ended up asking her, like, where are your fries? And she was like, they're over there. And I was like, okay. So, like, go get the fries, dump them in the basket, put them in the greaser, press the button. And she's like, okay, good job. I was like, thanks. So she was like, just stay there for a few minutes. I was like, okay. I stayed there for 4 hours. For 4 hours. I was like, few minutes. Okay. I mean, I guess it helped because I learned how to get the hang of making fries, and it became easier and easier the more that I did it. The next day they put me on drive-through, and the same thing. They just threw me out there and they were like, all right, like, start handing out orders. I was like, what? Like, I didn't know how to read the machine to see like what people had ordered. I didn't know what food to give out, like whose was whose. So I was so confused, and I like had to ask for help, and she was like, I'm only gonna help you once. She was like, you have to learn how to do this by yourself. I was like, can you at least explain like what everything is, like how to use the machines and stuff, so that I know like how to work this, you know? My thought was that I was gonna go in there, they were gonna like show me how to do something and then let me do it right after they showed me, you know, because that's kind of like what most places do. So they just threw me out there and they were like, all right, start working. I was like, I don't know what to do. That's what I kind of hated. Even when they put me on register, which was like way later, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what buttons to press, like what anything was, how to take orders, and they were like, just read the screen. I was like, I am reading the screen and I don't know what anything is, because they had like buttons for everything, like everything, and they had like 10 pages where there was different food sections. So like page 1 would be like hamburgers, page 2 would be like drinks, and then page 3 would be like the ice creams, and then 4 would be like what else do they have, like the breakfast. It would just keep going, and I was like, what am I doing? Like I was so confused. But that was like way later, and I ended up getting the hang of it. That's something that hopefully nobody ever has to go through, because it's terrible. So if you are going into McDonald's, or if you just recently got hired, expect to get grease burns. Let me show you. You see that one? That's a grease burn that never went away. Another grease burn. Oh, right here. There's one right there, and there's like another one somewhere here. Right here. I have like 4 grease burns in one hand, because that's the hand that I would mainly like put closer to where the grease was. The thing was, you put the fries in the basket, you put the basket in the greaser, you push a button that like times your fries, and then once they're done you take them out. So you have to shake the grease out. When you shake the grease out, the grease flies everywhere, so you're getting burned. Once you dump them, also sometimes the fries splatter grease, so you get burned. I have 4 burns that will never go away because of that. If you are going into McDonald's, make sure you are cautious about being around grease, or even being around the grill. I actually was put in grill, which is like cooking the meat and stuff, and I found that so disgusting. Sometimes the meat would not fully sometimes the meat would like not be fully cooked, and you could see like that it was still kind of red. It was just nasty. I'm glad they took me off of there because it was so gross. A little bit about the scheduling. I had a lot of conflicts with scheduling, because when I was working there, I was a high school student and I was a cheerleader. If you know anything about high school football, you know that most high school games are on Friday nights. My main manager, who schedules everybody, she would always schedule me on Fridays, and I had told her so many times, like, I can't work Fridays, like I'm a cheerleader, I have to be at the games, because sometimes we would perform, and if I'm not there, like it throws off the routine. So I told her like a bunch of times, and she would still schedule me. There was nothing that I could do. Another problem with scheduling was she had this really big calendar where everybody would write their name on the day that they wanted off, and that's how she knew what days to not schedule you. The thing is, sometimes she would have like some days scribbled off, which were like days that people had to be there. She was gonna schedule you no matter what. For example, let's say July's coming up, so let's say she has the calendar up for July, but she has like Saturday and Sunday scribbled off, and the next Saturday and Sunday scribbled off. You could not request those days off. if you were getting baptized or if you were getting married, you couldn't get those days off because those were mandatory work days. And I had so many issues with that because I was 16, living under my parents' roof. I had to go basically everywhere they went. Like if they went out of town, I had to go out of town too. They weren't gonna leave me there. I would always have problems with that because I needed certain days off, but she had them scribbled off. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get those days off? Like I need those days off. And so I would have to talk to her and she would be like, no, I'm sorry, like you're just gonna have to call in. I'm like, honey, no. That was something that a lot of people actually had problems with, but. So moving on to customers. We get so many rude customers, like sometimes you would just be like super nice and they would find something to hit you with. I'm like, what? It was the worst. One time I was on register and I had this really rude customer who just made me feel like trash, and I kind of got emotional that day because it hit me, and like I was like, bro, I'm 16, I'm trying, okay? Like I'm trying, and you're over here like just hating on me. But not all customers are bad. We do have some nice normal customers. In fact, the day that one guy like verbally attacked me, the guy after him was like, honey, don't even worry, like you're doing a great job and this and that. And he tried to give me a tip, but we can't take tips. He was really nice, and he even talked to my manager who was there and like explained what he saw with the other customer, and he was like, she's doing a great job. He was like, I really appreciated how she treated me. You get a lot of rude customers, and it's crazy like how rude people can be. It's actually really sad. That was honestly a reason why I hated going to work, because I knew there was going to be one customer wasn't satisfied. So after working there for a while, it kind of started getting really tiring, doing the same thing over and over, and it got so bad to the point where I would wake up and I just did not want to go to work at all because it was just so it just was not a fun place for me. I did learn a lot about customer service. Obviously, I learned how to communicate with customers. I learned a lot about the different types of customers that will approach you. I learned obviously how to use a register, which benefits me whenever I want to apply for another job, because they usually ask if you have like cashier experience. Yeah, my experience wasn't the best. But my experience is not going to be the same as somebody else's. So you can always have a great experience. You can have great managers. You can have great employees working with you, and you'll have a great experience. But that wasn't the case for me. But you know, it had its pros and cons, and I'm just glad I'm not working there anymore. Would I ever want to go back? Probably not. I ended up quitting around December because I got a new job starting in January, so I quit right away and I was like, bye. Now I have a different job. I like it so much better than McDonald's. So that was my experience working at McDonald's. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.